This is Akashvani Kohima bringing to you a series of episodes titled In Focus, a live interactive program on a Drug Free Nagaland, an initiative of the Regional News Unit, Akashvani Kohima, in collaboration with the Nagaland Police Department, broadcasted live every Monday at 1 p.m. to 2 p.m. It's a bilingual program where you can also be a part of this live program by sending in your feedback or queries through SMS by typing FM space F, your messages to 9436 805 333, or you can also call the number 90370 224 3036 and talk directly to the experts who are here in the studio. We are live on Akashvani FM channel 103 MHz, YouTube live stream at Akashvani Kohima program, as well as News on Air app. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I am your host, Kenny, here with the 6th episode in the exclusive series. And today we are going to talk about a comprehensive law on narcotic drugs and psychotropic substances, which not only went on to consolidate and amend the outdated laws, but also made provision for the implementation of international convention, treaties, and protocols about narcotic drugs and psychotropic substances. Yes, we are discussing the effectiveness of Narcotic Drugs and Psychotropic Substances Act 1985, in short, the NDPS Act. So to talk about this groundbreaking legislation, we have with us a very knowledgeable expert panels. We are joined by Mr. Sandeep M. Tamgadge. He is the Additional Director General of Police Law and Order. Welcome, sir. Welcome to the studio. We are also joined by Mr. Naieem Mustafa Mansury, the Deputy Inspector General of Police, Border. Welcome, sir. And we are also joined by Mr. H. Chishi, as Senior Journalist. Hello and welcome to the studio, sir. So, ladies and gentlemen, stay tuned with us, and now let's begin our discussion for today. So to start off with, let me first start with Sir Sandeep Ji. Let me start with you first. So right at the threshold, I want to ask you a very basic and fundamental question. What are narcotic drugs and psychotropic substances? What is the difference between these two terminologies? And also, if you want to flag any other important definitions or terminology from the definition clause of this act.
Narcotics, drugs and psychotropic substances, as you want to have the definition, and these two concepts are different. Narcotics, drugs are something which relaxes the muscles. It gives you a sense of happiness, and it makes you feel good. Whereas the psychotropic substance is something which causes mood disorders, it causes sleep disorders, and so basically these are the major difference between the narcotics and psychotropic substances. Psychotropic substances are also primarily the manufactured drugs. This is the major difference between narcotic drugs and psychotropic substances. Of course, this is a very technical definition which has been given in the NDPS Act 1985, as you rightly mentioned, and you had mentioned about the international conventions, and this particular subject area of narcotics and psychotropic substances, wherein India is also a signatory to 3 United Nations Drugs Convention. First, that was in 1961, wherein India was a signatory to a single convention on narcotics drugs. It was followed by 1971 when India signed a convention on psychotropic substances, and followed by 3rd United Nations Drugs Convention in 1988, which dealt with Convention Against Illicit Traffic in Narcotic Drugs and Psychotropic Substances. And since we are signatory to all these 3 important international conventions, we have come up with a very wide structure of not only law but also implementation agencies in the form of Narcotics Control Bureau at the Government of India level, which is a nodal agency for not only controlling and implementing the Act, but also the single nodal point for cooperation and coordination at the international level and at the state level. Besides the Narcotics Control Bureau, which has its own zonal offices all over the country, every state government agencies, including the police, the excise department, also has been given the authority of implementation of the Act. I think I'll stop for this particular question.
Right, sir. Thank you. So now coming to Sir Naieem Ji. Can you kindly highlight some of the important salient features of narcotic drugs and psychotropic substances, the NDPS Act 1985?
The NDPS Act 1985, it is in India. It is designed to control and regulate operations related to narcotic drugs and psychotropic substances. So the salient features are they have these offences and penalties. The Act outlines various offences related to the production, manufacture, possession, sale, purchase, transport, etc. of narcotic drugs and psychotropic substances. It prescribes stringent penalties and violations for violations. And it designates authorities like NCB, Narcotics Control Bureau is there to coordinate efforts on national level and international level for combating illicit drugs trafficking. And it also proposes punishments. Penalties of offences under NDPS Act include imprisonment, fines, or both. And the severity of punishment depends on the quantity of the substance involved and the nature of offence. And it also has a stringent bail provisions. The condition of granting bail reflecting the gravity of offence. And it has provision of forfeiture of the property. The Act allows for the forfeiture of property derived from or used in illicit drug activities. And it also outlines international cooperation and for medical and scientific use. While it imposes strict controls, the Act also recognizes the need for certain narcotic and psychotropic substances for medical and scientific purpose, and it provides for licensing and regulation of such activities. The Act also has provision for special courts for speedy trial of the cases.
मैं एक ठक होबो यते तो हमी लगा डीआईजी नईम साहब को लगा तो माने नार्कोटिक्स तो अपनी की होबो अपनी मानुखान जानी दीपोले तो नागा मिस्ते को आसे ने हेरोइन ये तो ओपीएम मॉर्फिन गांजा चरस और केमिकली मेड लैब ते बना लगा मिथेम्फेटामिन एम्फेटामिन एलएसडी एटसेट्रा ये तो सब आमी खान तो नार्कोटिक्स को है और अपनी ताकि होता लगा तो सेलेंट फीचर्स तो दूसरा एक्ट ते तो कुन मानु क्राइम करिबो माने इतो ही अक्यूज्ड से इन दिस एक्ट इवन अ पर्सन हु कंज्यूम द ड्रग खा लगा मानु भी अक्यूज्ड से और इतो पहला एक्ट ते 1985 ते बना टाइम ते एक्ट वाज वेरी स्ट्रिंजेंट इतो पछोते तीनटा अमेंडमेंट होय केना আছে और इतिया तो एक्ट डिफरेंशिएट करे माने कुनबा मानु तो खा लगा मानु तो स्मॉल क्वांटिटी থাকিব পাৰিব আৰু কুনবা কমাৰ্শিয়াল ডিল কৰা টাইমতে তো ডাঙৰ কৰিব পাৰিব তো ইটো হিসাব পুরা পানিশমেন্ট বি ডিফার কৰি কেনা আছে মানে কথা একটা एग्जांपल দিব মই আপনিকে যদি হেরোইন কইলে heroin drug heroin 5 mg 5 milligram is small quantity for 5 mg the punishment is 6 months rigorous imprisonment aru 250 grams and above is a commercial quantity 5 mg to small quantity aru 250 commercial quantity तो जदि कुनबा मानु लोगत 5 mg থাকিলে कंज्यूमर থাকিলে तो punishment up to 6 months আছে और 250 ग्राम থাকিলে तो rigorous punishment up to 10 years আছে तो इतु हिसाब पूरा सब डिफर करे के ना আছে सिमिलरली गांजा कोइले स्मॉल क्वांटिटी गांजा तो 1000 mg और commercial quantity तो 20 kgs similarly for cocaine small quantity is 2 mg commercial quantity is 100 grams तो इतु हिसाब पूरा एक्ट इतिया तो डिफर करे के ना আছে कुनबा मानु खा लगा तो ताके किमान पनिशमेंट दिबो कुनबा मानु कमर्शियल डील करा लगा ट्रैफिकर इतु बिक्री करा लगा इतु लगा डिफर আছে तो दिस एक्ट गिव्स अ वेरी डिफरेंशिएट्स एग्जैक्टली हु इज अ कंज्यूमर and who deals in a commercial selling and trafficking of.
Okay, right, sir. Thank you for that. And one of the important objective of NDPS Act is to take measures for preventing, combating, and regulation of operations relating to narcotic drugs and psychotropic substances. So, how successful has this been, particularly in our state, Nagaland, Manla state, Ladina? Yes, sir.
सभी drugs अपनी कौनिशना is a big डांगर problem. Not only Nagaland, so country almost there are states which has been very badly affected by the consumption of drugs. और Nagaland ते तो important Myanmar border और Manipur border होई के ना Nagaland is a very important transit route. Nagaland ते भी खा लगा मानो विषय ऐसे पहले भी Nagaland is primarily the national highway number 2 gets used for transporting of drugs beyond Nagaland to the other states of the India. And that's why Government of India is very serious on the war against drug and including the state police and the state government. हमें लगा ऑनरेबल चीफ मिनिस्टर भी तो साल इंडिपेंडेंस डे परेड ते सब मानू खान के कसम खिलाइशिले NDPS लगा करिकिना. So if a state chief minister takes so much of interest, that indicates the seriousness of the efforts of the state government in combating and fighting and preventing the drug menace. Now you mentioned about the Nagaland.
Yeah.
Nagaland police, we have been taking very serious actions against this menace, and especially in last 1 year, we have gone all out against the drug related issues, and we have had some very significant seizure, significant cases that we have registered. Earlier, we used to have small cases, but this year the strategy of Nagaland police has been to go out after the organized crime or organized gangs of the narcotics. And if I can give you the details of last 5 years, तो जो अब 5 साल पूरा तो गांजा टोटल मिलाई के ना नागालैंड पुलिस पूरा almost 11,500 kgs धोरी के ना से including 2023 लगा. और वो जो दी ओपियम था के लिए ओपियम total in last 5 years Nagaland police has seized 750 kgs, heroin 53 kgs, brown sugar 43 kgs, yaba tablet, yaba kori ke na ekta tablet hai, it's a synthetic drug. So yaba tablets in last 5 years we have seized almost 89,000 tablets. इतो छाड़ी के ना भी दूसरा synthetic drugs असे तो methamphetamine ice crystal को है, that also we have seized in a large quantity. So this is the number of the seizures that the Nagaland police have done, and last 5 years we have registered in all 1,482 cases, in which we have arrested 2,473 accused suspects. And as you rightly said, we in this particular year we have really targeted in a very synchronized, in a very organized manner, along with the neighboring states, along with other agencies. We are going very strict against not only narcotics illicit traffickers, but also against the consumers.
Right, thank you, sir. As we are talking particularly about our Nagaland state right now, so Sir Chishi and Sir Naieem ji, if you can shed a light on the types of drugs that are categorized under the NDPS Act, which is prevalent in our state.
Actually, moi to itu categorize to ita mokan la additional DG pro ko issue to types of ki drugs ase itu jane se lo I'm not into this detail to kinika kila types in.
Okay, so
so
Sir Naieem, if you can,
DIG can
As this name of this act, narcotic and psychotropic substance. So there are two kinds of terms used. The term narcotic.
Okay.
So in the legal sense, it's quite different. So that is used in medical context. So in medical context, it is used as which denotes a sleep-inducing agent. And in a legal sense, it is a narcotic drug, could be an opiate.
Okay.
It's formed from, it's a true narcotic. It's a opium. So like heroin, brown sugar, these are derivative of this drug. Then cannabis is there. It's a non-narcotic drug, and like charas, ganja, derived from. And one cocoa plant is there, from which a cocaine is derived. So this is the antithesis of a narcotic, means it's a kind of a stimulant drug. But these are all characterized as a narcotic drugs. Then there are psychotropic substance, which denotes mind-altering drugs such as LSD, amphetamines, barbiturates, MDMA, etc. This is a broad classification.
And what the DIG has said, NDPS also, Kohima, before 1985 there were some drugs which were legally sold in the country, because something like cannabis, which has been in use in the country for thousands of years, morphine, these are very good medicine for pain, for the surgery and other things. So if you ban everything, then nothing will be used. So this act also provides for controlled cultivation of let's say cannabis, poppy and other things, but which would be cultivated under a very strict supervision and guidance of the government of India. So it's not that this act completely bans the everything. It also gives that small window, small door for production of essential drugs which are used for medicinal purposes.
Yes.
Okay, so as we are talking about the different types of drugs categorized, I'm just curious to know, what about this alcohol? There's alcohol, there's bhang. Are those come under drugs or?
Yeah. See, alcohol is not categorized under the NDPS Act. The alcohol, especially for Nagaland, we have another act called as the NLTP Act. Nagaland Total Prohibition of Liquor Act. But alcohol per se is not covered under NDPS. You mentioned about bhang, yes, cannabis. Cannabis is a part of NDPS. It gets covered. But moya koanishna cannabis to kitiaba to medicinal purpose karne bhi use kori thake. So cannabis production in a controlled manner is permitted under.
Right, so which sections of NDPS Act has been more effective in our state Nagaland? Can the members suggest as to what can enable the NDPS Act be implemented more effectively, particularly in our state Nagaland?
The Act, the Chapter 4 of the Act, which deals with Section 15 to 40, deals with the offences and the punishments. So this Act under Chapter 4 from Section 15 to 40 prescribes the offences and the punishment. And every section deals with a separate category of the drug. For example, Section 15 prescribes the punishment for the poppy straw. Section 16 deals with cocoa leaves. Section 17 deals with prepared opium. Section 18 deals with opium, poppy and opium. Then Section 20 deals with cannabis plant and cannabis. So between Section 15 and 40, every section deals with a separate class of drug. And the punishment is also separate. For example, Section 20 jodi ami koile, Section 20 prescribes for punishment for contravention in relation to cannabis plants and cannabis. So it says that any person who is in the process of cultivation, production, manufacturing, possession, selling, purchasing or transportation of cannabis plant and cannabis, for that the punishment is rigorous punishment up to 10 years along with a fine which can be up to 1 lakh rupees. Now it says, as I mentioned earlier, the Act provides for, it defines what is a small quantity, what is a commercial quantity. So jodi ami khan cannabis koile, cannabis small quantity is 1000 mg and the large quantity is 20 kgs. But the same thing for, let's say, cocaine. Cocaine is a hard drug. Cocaine small quantity is 2 mg and even possession of 100 grams is a serious offense wherein the punishment prescribed is up to 10 years and fine up to 2 lakh rupees. One very significant section of this particular act is about Section 27. To Section 27, the Act deals with Moikoanishna consume kora laga bhi punishable offences. So Section 27 deals with punishment for consumption of any narcotic drug. Bishi manukhan to bhabe amikhan to nijer kini kina nijer kha se itu to offense nahi, nijer paisa pura kina kina, but this is a offense under the Act. So Section 27 says that if you are even consuming the small amount of narcotic drugs, you are liable up to a punishment for rigorous imprisonment up to 1 year or fine up to 25,000. So we have been, Nagaland police have been using this particular section for consumers. Kun kha se itu manu khan laga. To Section 27 ami khan Nagaland police pura cholaya se itu chhadi ke na bhi dusra Section 21 for manufactured drugs kun transmit koriye se, kun sell koriye se, kun commercial quantity deal koriye se. We have been doing for that. Then itu chhadi ke na Section 27A which prescribes for punishment for financing illicit traffic and harboring offenders. So Section 27 is one act which we have been using very often for not only the traffickers but also for the consumers, and most of the cases get registered under this particular act. However, before I complete this particular answer, Act also prescribes alternative. Section 64A Korikena Act is 64A of the NDPS Act. It says that somebody who is consuming, who is a habitual addict to the drugs, আমি খান বি জানে একবাৰ এডিক্ট হলে তো ইটস ভেৰি ডিফিকাল্ট টু
Yes.
ছাড়িবলৈ বেছি দিগদাৰ আছে ফ্যামিলি মেম্বাৰ্স বি ট্ৰাই কৰিব কিমান তাই নিজে ট্ৰাই কৰিলে বি এটো যদি কিবা এডিক্ট হৈ যালে তো বেছি দিগদাৰ আছে however section 64A says that if police কোনবা মানুহকে খা টাইমতে ধৰা টাইমতে যদি ধৰিলে and if he is willing to undergo rehabilitation process he is willing to take that entire course of de-addiction then we need to give him the opportunity so not necessarily that kun khas se sab ko uthai kina jail te pata debo ito na ito bhi na hoy kun ba willingly jodi undertaking dile ami ki ekta chance dibi moi jai kina rehabilitation te jabo ami nije try koribo so we need to give that
opportunity. Okay, that's nice. Right, thank you. Well, my dear ladies and gentlemen who are tuned in with us right now, it is time to take a very short break. You stay tuned because right after this break, we will be back soon and we will continue our discussion. So taking the break, I have these two beautiful song lineup for you. The first one is by the Tetio sisters. It's titled Say Yes to Life. And next up, I have the song No to Drugs, Yes to Life. This is by the 15 Mahila IR band. So stay tuned and enjoy these two songs. Listeners, welcome back after the break. You are listening to the series of episode titled In Focus, a live interactive program on Drug Free Nagaland. Today we are discussing a considerably important law, the NDPS Act 1985, the law founding of which was more than imperative to address the problem of transit traffic of drugs. Further, a stringent law was also needed to deal with coming into being of new kinds of drugs, and there is a lot to discuss with our experts panelists who are here in the studio with us this afternoon. So this time what we're going to do is take some questions from you listeners who have took the time to drop by. So I'll start with this SMS sent to us by one of our listener, and the question goes like this: do the panelists think that media in Nagaland are doing enough in the fight against drugs? If so, highlight some. If not, what are some areas that the media can venture in? So, Sir Chishi, if you can kindly address this message, the question here.
Over the years, if you're closely observing the media in the state on protecting the drug, kiniga khase, kiniga haise, mokan bishi report kurigena ase, aro mokan police aro authority khan bogiti bi contact kurigena taji parbi information pai, aro sting operation tak bi kitabato kure mokan. Despite very limited resources that we have put a maximum effort. Side by side law enforcing authority kan with inka kam kurigena ase, but koinsana inflow to bisha ki garni Nagaland is a porous state and then it's connected with the golden triangle. To mokan kuraso libin na parigene abi ase bishi without our knowledge bi do state para out state ahija ase state para out to from passing through Nagaland state bi ase. Well, we will continue to put our effort alongside with our law enforcing agencies. To the maximum, we will put our effort.
Right, sir. And also, yes, sir, if you have anything to add. Yes, please.
Chishi Sahab Konishna. Media, Nagaland media is very active, especially in fight against the drugs. Well, abhi moi Konishna paila act not only prescribes about the offences and their penalties, reformative process bhi act te ase. Section 64 in laga koa laga. তো এটো অ্যাওয়ারনেস জানাই দিব লাগে মানুখানকে এটো মানুখান বেশিরভাগ তো কোন খা আছে এটো না জানে মানে লুকাই কিনা খায় থাকে ইকোনমিক প্রবলেমস বি আছে তো একটা অ্যাওয়ারনেস ক্যাম্পেইন ইসনা প্রিন্ট ইলেকট্রনিক আর সোশ্যাল মিডিয়াতে যেটো যদি করিলে রিফর্মেশন কোন কোন জায়গাতে রিহ্যাবিলিটেশন সেন্টার আছে রিহ্যাবিলিটেশন সেন্টার লাগা ডিউরেশন কিমান আছে amount কিমান দিব লাগে ইটো যদি কিবা একটা হিকাই দিলে মানুখানকে তো ইটো একটা ভালো হবো दूसरा I have beg to differ with Chishi Sahab on one thing. Chishi Sahab तो कोई golden triangle तो আমি লাগা ভাবনা তো ইটো golden triangle নহয় কেনা তো dead triangle হবো ইটো জায়গা পরা আহ লাগা ড্রাগস খান খাই কেনা মানুখান তো মরাই যায় society family khan bhangai jay so I think it's time for us to change the nomenclature from golden triangle to death triangle.
Terminology should be changed.
To add that, like media It's very important road awareness kuri bole to.
Yes, sir.
Media to Nagaland laga media to print media wale digital media they are doing their best and future de bhi ki kuri bole na awareness limite because it's NDPS Act so this program is also for awareness of common public. So if we use all the form of media so for this awareness purpose and to educate the common man regarding the stringent provisions plus what are the rehabilitation, everything is included in that. So I think it will go a long way.
আৰু নাইম কোৱা নিচিনা ইংলিছ মিডিয়াটো আছে হ'লে বি বেছিভাগটো মানুহখানটো লোকেল লেংগুৱেজেছ টিভি যোদা কিবা কৰিলে না মানুহখানটো বুজি যাব বেছিভাগটো খা লগা মানুহখানটো কিমান মানুহখান ইংলিছ আৰু ইংলিছ লগা নিউজ পেপাৰ পঢ়ি থাকে এইটো বি উই ডোণ্ট নো so I feel there should be a concerted effort in trying to spread awareness in the vernacular languages, tribal dialects, also giving the contact details, the web links of the resource material. If you are able to translate this in the local tribal dialect and publish in the various tribal newspapers or tribal social media, I think that may also a little bit help in spreading it.
Media la opore kotha kwase to ita aro ekta hoduolo mun thake do drug users can or the issues of drug menace kan do kina portray kuri media there aro do you think that media is doing justice to
expert kan bhi to terminology all change kora ase ajikali to because like ajikali moi kan jail noko hoja correctional center koanchana so those days I think media be like drug addicts like junkies alcoholic in your quite but I think they have changed that terminology person with substance disorder maybe person with an alcohol use disorder person in recovery itu kan la terminology use kodibi ki nohole tu itu addicts kan itu misuse kora kan tu they will itu stigma bishi bilabo ho jay stigma bilab ho jay itu pura aro ta kan ke depression tipi jay jabo aro itu opore they may change into different type of behavioral change will be there which will affect the society at large itu kan itu terminology be all change in the hasani ki then experts have already suggested
aru chishi sahab konishna to ami khan to beshibhag taboo ase society te stigma ase
hoy sir
aru police Nagaland police aru dusra enforcement agencies be we try to prevent, we try to arrest, we try to seize, we try to investigate it was sab kore kina ekta line te na jay kina society laga mindset change hobo lage we need to understand that the people who are consumers and who are addict it's beyond their control অলপ empathy থাকিব লাগে
empathy থাকিব লাগে
society te itu awareness spread hobo lage what happens is once somebody knows that a person A is consuming drug suddenly he or she is stigmatized to a large extent
yes sir
there is a taboo not only for the individual but also for the family and dehumanize yes exactly and then what happens is instead of support being given to that individual even from the family family bi lukai kina thakibole try kore so that mental shift in the social mindset I think can be largely achieved by role of media I think that we need to make some efforts
Okay, so do you think that the issue of drug menace and various acts or the provisions of the law has been properly addressed to the public? How effective has been the media in this regard?
Effective progression I cannot say also but our police force is doing very well. Only me moi ekta kobole mon thaga tu police kiman kam kori thaklibi in the past what we had interaction with our police officials police can we kunba tam dele kiba ho jay frustration pe ho jay because there are loopholes where criminals can jump the law of the land so itu opore community be involved korba lage media be involved korba lage aru judiciary is very very important leg ase hen ase tai pura leniency only to really frustrated this police administration society also so
exactly
judiciary should think over it I think yeah
and what I can add to what Mr. Chishi has said it should be a collective fight of all segments of the society all segments of the government criminal justice system ami kwa time te police is just one component of the police criminal justice system মই starting to question itu act is very stringent act. All offences, all provisions of this act are cognizable and non-bailable. Itu ekta bhi offence nahi which is bailable. Of course, the courts grant bail if the suspect fulfills the condition laid down despite section 37. But bail dia time te bhi surety ko nase, bailer ko nase, itu society pura kiba kori bolla. Kile mane Nagaland police last 1 year we have seen once the person gets released on bail, there have been a lot of instances when the person goes back to the same old tradition of selling of drugs. So I think that aspect needs to be sensitized to the public. That if somebody is standing as a bailer, as a surety, as a guarantor for the good behavior of the person, we need to take that job seriously. So since this act is so strict, so stringent, and the law of the land which says that we should totally establish, and that's why a lot of time, irrespective of small technical aspect, the person gets either released on bail or acquitted even after the trial.
Yes, sir.
So that sensitization has to be done.
Sir Naieem, I would like to know your opinion on this as well. How effective has been the media in this regard? I mean, do you think that the issues of drug menace and various acts or the provision of the law has been properly addressed to the public, and how effective has been the media in this regard?
Regarding this media, already like lot of has been discussed by our sir, and like sir earlier highlighted, like if these act and these provisions, selling provisions, it can be translated vernacular language, like Mishipak Nagamis para jane. Nagamis के itu तो act है ना, की provisions आते हैं ऐसे, itu करो एक बार circulate करो लेके ना media का, तो itu तो बिशी बानो.
So do you think that so far the media is doing justice?
Yeah, it's work in progress. So they are doing their best, and I think a lot of has to be done. Right?
Because we need a lot of public mass campaigns through media, no? Yeah. Because you see, media message have a deep impact. They very deep impact, wider impact on the society, and are instrumental in creating popular accept. Means what the media said, people can easily accept, even though this is half truth, sometimes fully untrue. But media plays a very major role, sir.
And the fact that All India Radio is conducting this special series on the use of NDPS and the popularization, I think there has been increased realization amongst all aspects of the media that they need to play a bigger role. And I think this is a very good evidence that the program that we are attending, that they are trying to take the thing seriously. Of course, as Naieem said, a lot can also need to be done.
Yes.
Right, so as per a local media report, Nagaland police has successfully apprehended 157 individuals in connection with cases related to NDPS Act and has registered 133 such cases. So can you kindly share us on this achievement?
This year, till October, we have registered 294 cases.
Okay, thank you.
And we have arrested 429 individuals. Right. This is till October. Okay. Of course, since the month of November, this figure has certainly improved, increased. And this year has been significant for in the terms of seizure of heroin drugs. Amikhan ito शाफ्लावर को है ना, सनफ्लावर को है तो सोप केसेस और भी दुकान लगा तो this year we have till October seized almost 24 kgs of heroin as compared to 10 kgs in 2022 and 6 kgs in 2021. It has been a very concerted effort in targeting hard drugs. Of course, there is nothing called as hard drugs or soft drugs, but the kind of heroin in the form of sunflower. It's actually shan flower. It's something which it grows in the Shan province of neighboring country. That's why. But here in our state we call it sunflower. But nevertheless, so we concentrated very heavily on that, and as a result of that, as I said, as compared to last year's 10 kgs, this year in October we have seized almost up to 24 kgs, and it's still a work in progress. Similarly, we have targeted very heavily the opium and ganja and other synthetic drugs. So these are the figures of the state.
Okay, so there are lots of questions and we'll definitely be discussing more on it, but let's go for a short break, and after that short break I will be back and we will learn more about this NDPS Act from the experts who are here in the studio with us. So listeners, stay tuned with us. Listeners, welcome back. You are still tuned in for your show where we are discussing about the effectiveness of NDPS Act 1985. So without any further ado, let me straightly go to our next question here for Sir. So what are the important case laws?
So when we refer to case law, I'll primarily speak about the Supreme Court of India pura diya laga case. Itu law analyze kori kina, law interpret kora laga case laws. So there are few case laws which I want to speak out today. So ekta Union of India versus Mehboob Alam kore kina 2004 te ekta Supreme Court pura decide kora laga ekta case ase. In this case, the Honorable Court decided about granting bail. Moi pehla koha nishna sub offences NDPS Act to non bailable ase. Pehle bhi itu case the Union of India versus Mehboob Alam in 2004. The Honorable Supreme Court has given the conditions on how a person can be granted bail, what condition needs to be fulfilled. So this is one case law. Then Bishi Bhag to Ami Khan, Police Khan, Manu Khan ke dhora time te. Act says that itu drug bookie ke na ja time te possession. Manu laga body te ase na, bike te ase na, truck te ase na, bolero te ase. This is something which is a grey area in the Act. So on this particular aspect, Honorable Supreme Court has given a lot of case laws, out of which one is State of Punjab versus Rampal in 2009, wherein the Honorable Court has defined what do you mean by physical possession. Mane shirt te lukai ke na ja se, na gadi te separate compartment kori ke na lukai ke na ja se. So that the Honorable Supreme Court has made clear in that. And it's very clear that once the possession is established, mane jodi moi ekta bolero ekta gadi loi kena ja ase aru ami laga gadi pora drugs seize korishe, recover korishe, and in case if that vehicle is registered in my name, moi nijer chola ase gadi, so I have to explain why and how this drugs is in my vehicle. It's not on the police officers. Primarily it's my job to explain why these drugs have been in my vehicle. This case was also discussed in another case law called as Baldev Singh versus State of Haryana. And then one particular case was that mane jodi kotha to duita manu motorcycle scooty pura ja ase. One is riding the vehicle, somebody is a pillion rider. Police khan taike rukaile check kora time te. If somebody starts running, okay, it would be presumed that they are aware that that motorcycle is carrying drugs. So this case was decided in the Supreme Court in the Jagdish Rai versus State of Punjab. And criminal jurisprudence pura mane moi koha nishna, it is for the police agency, it is for the prosecution to prove all cases beyond reasonable doubt. Only then a person gets convicted in the court of law. However, in the Supreme Court has taken a little bit leniency as far as NDPS cases are concerned. In a very famous case, Iqbal Musa Patel versus State of Gujarat in 2011, the Honorable Court said that proof beyond reasonable doubt does not mean proof beyond a shadow of a doubt. And even if the prosecution is not able to establish the case beyond reasonable doubt, and if there are good enough evidences, the spirit of this case law says that court should convict the person. So these are few case laws that I wanted to say. Of course, there are lot of case laws. One important case law from the point of view of general public is police khan na excise khan na dusra manu khan kunba manu ke rukai ke na search kora time te. It is the right of the individual to be told that why he is being searched. माने इतु कुनबा मानु ना जाने बस्ती पूरा मानु आँख लगा भी तो इतु ताई इतु मानु के जनाई दिबो लगे इतु अपनार लगा राइट असे आमी अपनी के किले सर्च करी असे आरो आमी गजेटेड ऑफिस असे आमी के एकटा सस्पिशन असे इतु कारणे आमी के अपनी के सर्च करी असे so this aspect was clarified in Aga Khan versus State of Uttarakhand in 2018. There are, of course, a lot of case laws. One last case law that I would want to, again, important case law which I want to refer here in the larger interest is Devinder Kumar versus State of Punjab, which says that any vehicle, itu gadi rasta te ja time te, suspicious vehicle, which there is a information, reasonable information that it's carrying. So, an officer can seize that vehicle at any public place or in traffic. Manukhan to bishibhag niyam na jane. So they will say what authority and other thing. So these are the various provisions and various important cases.
Thank you so much, sir. Iman bhal rakudishe apni aruman shikiwole paishe je case laws la pordwi aru ekta moi hudiwole mon thakado ido media reports se thakishe that Nagaland police can ba 43 personals can suspend kurdishiguna under the NDPS Act. So can you kindly highlight us under which act or section this action has been made, as well as what type of punishments were rewarded to them as per this act?
We see, if we are the implementing agency, enforcement agency, it is expected that our own house is clean. We can't go in the public with our own force consuming drugs or dealing in drugs or trafficking in drugs.
Right.
So Nagaland Police, under the leadership of Honorable the respected DGP Rupen Sharma sir, we have gone very strict against the use of drug or trafficking of drugs within the force. And as you rightly mentioned, there have been number of strict actions that we have taken against our own personnel. But these actions have been taken in the two forms. Itu kunba manuke to criminal cases be register korishe, criminal cases register kori kena, investigation kori kena, evidence आप अच्छे थे खान के simple दूसरा मानु खान के केने का treat करे तो इसा पूरे criminal national treat करे केना we will file the charge sheet. पहले भी all government servants, including Nagaland police personnel, also governed by government conduct rules. So we have initiated the major departmental inquiry proceedings against these individuals, and as you mentioned, these people have been suspended. Out of these 43 people, 8 persons have already been dismissed from the service. माने तो सुखा discharge को अलगा को था तो तखन के service पूरा उलाई दिशे after completing the proceedings, and lot of other inquiries are in various stages of conduct of the inquiry. However, I will take this opportunity to also say that it's not only about Nagaland police personnel, any public servant कुन तो दूसरा department लगा धक्का लगा मानु खान भी जोधी इतो consumption of drugs ना होले trafficking of drugs ते जोधी होले, we will ensure that not only the criminal cases are registered, but also we will write to the concerned head of the department with the request that the concerned public servant should be placed under suspension and a departmental inquiry should be initiated. We have zero tolerance for this kind of things in the uniformed services and the public service.
Very good. Sir, I just wanted to add, sir, idu apn khan la idu narcotics seal to all strengthen ke na kurbo lage. I think more personal recruit kule bhi bhal, nohole bhi debate kule bhi.
Tate duita ase sabi. Narcotic cell, इतिया एकटा police station narcotic cell को रेकना PH कोते थाके. तो इतु लगा jurisdiction तो all over the state असे. अपने भी जानी वो पारी. माने इतिया आमी यार कोहिमा ते असे. तो this area covers under the jurisdiction of South Police Station. Okay. तो सब police station लगा jurisdiction थाके. But for the narcotics police station, it has a jurisdiction all over the state. It has not limited. But that doesn't mean that the local police station cannot register the cases. So Ami Khan to case register kora time te local police station also registers the case, and some of the important cases which we feel that it needs investigation beyond the state in the multiple states or it is an organized crime, then we take narcotics police station laga case. But yes, I agree with you, it needs to be strengthened, it needs to have more manpower, and we are working towards that to have skilled manpower to be posted.
So monitoring and evaluation system can be in place kurbo lage na.
Itu ase. We have a very robust monitoring and surveillance system, and that is the increased number of cases that you see is a part of the new surveillance and monitoring system, if I can say.
Right, so we are nearing to the end of our program, just left with 4 minutes and so many more things to discuss, but it's almost time to wrap it up. So the final question that I would like to ask you all is, do you think that more public awareness or campaign is required regarding the NDPS Act?
Yes, definitely, as I've said, monitoring and evaluation system to strengthen advocacy program down to the ground root level, or international border to be strengthened since we have border.
No,
DG.
we since we I have said that it's a team effort. It needs effort
team
from
effort
all
as a whole.
efforts. I feel that the social welfare department, they are doing a fine job, but I think they can definitely improve, add more programs to add the curriculum in the school education, so that right from the young days the children are aware of the ill effects of these things. So awareness means awareness from at all levels and all segments of the society, and that is why coordination needs to be done. Just say the last point, recognizing this, the government of India has come up with a comprehensive system of NCORD. It's a narcotics coordination control system which involves all the departments of the government, not only all the departments, NGOs and other people also, and all the districts in the state have something called as ANTF, Anti-Narcotic Task Force, wherein the district deputy commissioners is the head of the NTF, and NCORD district level committee is headed by the deputy commissioners, and they have the members of the police department, social welfare, health and medical, school education. So I think if we are able to have regular meetings at the district level, at the school level, at the local stakeholder level, if this awareness is done in a proper coordinated manner, I think this can achieve a lot of results.
Told by our sir, we have to I want to put it on record, like in Nagaland police, we are going to schools, colleges to catch them young, because the young minds, they are more susceptible for this side effects, and the mind is not very mature to understand all the consequences. So we are going to these schools and colleges, and we are involving youth leaders, and joint campaigns also are being organized by Nagaland police, and I think more can be done through churches, so that the parents also should know about the side effects, and that their young kids can get involved in this mess. So, and on government level, our central government has this one Nasha Mukt Bharat Abhiyan is there, and one more National Fund for Control of Drug Abuse. So these funds are already there.
Right. Thank you, sir. So, listeners, drug addiction has become one of the plague of our times, a serious hazard which threatens public health and human behaviors, whose consequences spread to crime and lawlessness. The challenges are ongoing, and so are the efforts to deal with them. And on that note, let me thank our guest, Mr. Sandeep M. Tamgadge, the Additional Director General of Police, Law and Order, Mr. Naieem Mustafa Mansury, the Deputy Inspector General of Police, Border, Mr. H. Chishi, as Senior Journalist. Thank you all for joining us on this discussion and enlightening our listeners with your expert views. Thank you all so much.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
So that's all we have in this series of episode titled In Focus, a live interactive program on a drug-free Nagaland, brought to you by the Regional News Unit Akashvani Kohima in collaboration with the Nagaland Police Department. You can stay connected with us at Akashvani FM channel 103 MHz, as well as YouTube channel Akashvani Kohima program and News on Air app. Join us again next time, same channel. Taking your leave for the day, this has been your host Kenny, wishing you all to have a pleasant day.